one of the things I believe that we need to take a bit more seriously, especially for people who see themselves at a phase or transition, or at a phase where it appears like they're experiencing some sort of delay, or they're experiencing some sort of contention. They're engaged in warfare that they might not even know what they're fighting, but they know that the way events in their lives are playing out shows that there is something in the dark, there is something in the unknown that is conspiring against their path, their destiny, their process, and the fulfillment of whatever goals that they think to have. This message is for you. This message is not the normal kind of message that you would want to hear about in the Christian circles, especially the Pentecostals and the charismatic circles. However, for people who know that destiny might be sleeping, they are losing a lot of time, they've wasted a lot of years, they where they believe they should be now, they're nothing close to it. They know in their heart what the words of God concerning their lives and their future are, and they are nothing like it. Does not look like they're making any sense of progress or forward movements. As a matter of fact, it might be like they're losing chances, they are getting older, and there's nothing to amount to that. If you are such a person, one of the key words I want to bring to you in this time and this season is priesthood. Now, priesthood is something that you have to be very intentional about. It's not something you'd hear a lot in a lot of Christian circles, but it does determine a lot of things. It's one of the reasons why a lot of believers are still beggarly. They are on the lowest of levels, lowest of chains, and their life isn't as influential as God or Jesus commands us to be. Now, when it comes to that priesthood, the core thing I need you to understand before this year runs out that I believe you should do is the word sacrifice. I know that a lot of believers believe that Jesus is the ultimate sacrifice, and Jesus has become the sacrifice so that we do not need to sacrifice. That is true. But in the demands of priesthood, even Jesus being the ultimate sacrifice, a lot of people are not appropriating the power of that sacrifice. But that being aside, what I want to share with you now is if you look at your life, out of the ashes, out of the despair, out of the despondency, out of the darkness, bring out a sacrifice. For example, sacrifice is not just about money, but I'll tell you what sacrifice is. For someone that is poor, or for someone that doesn't have money, money is a sacrifice. For someone who life has beaten blue and black, and there is no reason to rejoice or to give praise to God, praise is a sacrifice. There is something the Bible calls the sacrifice of praise. Now, when Jesus was at the temple and looking at people who are bringing offerings to the temple, and he saw a widow that brought her mite, he said that the widow gave more than all the other people because she gave out of her poverty. What she gave is of what is left, not of the abundance that the other people have. And so, in this season, I want you to prayerfully look at your life. What is that area that it appears that the devil is using to bamboozle you and inflict havoc in your life? Sacrifice that part. Hannah was barren for a long period of time, and she made a pact with God that God, out of this thing that I do not have, when you give me a child, you know what a barren woman would want to do? Hold on to that child, spoil that child. This is the child of my old age and all of that. She said, I will give this child to you. A lot of people might think that is easy. For some of you, what you need to sacrifice is time. Your job is taking more time from you that you don't even have time for God anymore. You're so busy with so many things, inexcusably so. But you need to understand that Do you want to remain this way all the days of your life? No. God has called you into so much more. And in order to get into that so much more, you need to leave the face you are. But there are lots of things pulling you left, right, and center. The word for you today is sacrifice. You must give something that costs you. You must give something that pains you. A lot of people have so much demands of God. Can you just leave it? Some people feel they're old, they need to get married. Some people have been looking for jobs for years, nothing is forthcoming. Some people, their lives is just going on and there is no sense of proof. Can you sacrifice that thing? Build an altar before God and let God understand that He is the prize. He is the most important thing to you. You need to understand the role of sacrifices in priesthood. And sacrifice is not just a Christian perspective. It's a global perspective. Everyone who is at the forefront of something in this world made sacrifices. It might be good sacrifices, it might be bad sacrifices, it might be sacrifices in God, it might be sacrifices in the devil, it might be sacrifices in light, it might be sacrifices in darkness, but it does not take the place away that they made sacrifices. So, what is that thing that is standing in the way of your breakthrough? A lot of you, a sacrifice will be take on the fast. You become gluttonous in a while, and it is very difficult to fight not eating anything. For some of you, the sacrifice is go off social media for a while. Let the Holy Spirit tell you what you need to sacrifice, and do that intentionally. Then you begin to see how quickly things can turn around for you. This is not a long message, but I believe that this is an important message that you need to understand. If you want to see something in 2025 and you don't want 2025 to look the same way 2024 looked, brother, sister, sacrifice is the key. You cannot afford to sleep all your time. You cannot allow to just not make productive use of the time. The enemy is raging, and a lot of more devastating things are being planned. But sacrifice can exempt you. And that's what I want you to prayerfully think about. And let the Holy Spirit commit to you that which you must sacrifice. And then give it to God. And let's see what God will do. There is a personal audit session that I had. I think it's important that you also look through it. I would also begin to work towards the people that I would be engrossed with in the coming year. 2025 is the year that you must live differently. And in order to live differently, you have to change the way you think, you have to change your systems and structures around your life. And many of you cannot do that on your own. If you could, you would have. Okay. And so these are some of the big plans that we're looking forward to. God has great plans for you. You cannot allow the flesh to rid you of those things. The devil is not powerful. Demons are not powerful. God has all the power. However, we must learn to connect to Him and then He bringing out His glory through our lives. And that is what all of this is about.